Okay, we're live.
All right. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. The November 7th meeting of the Upper Township Board of Supervisors, general business meeting. And we'll start, as we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, it has been a long week for all of us. It's only Thursday, which is remarkable to think. So before we get started, just taking a moment to center ourselves to the business at hand tonight, making sure that while we do that, we are remembering those who can't be here with us. We are showing gratitude to those who can, especially showing gratitude to the volunteers who make our community and our state and our country continue to run in an efficient manner. We are especially going to take a moment before we get started tonight to have some kind thoughts for the Peugeot family who sustained a total loss of their home yesterday. And while we're thankful, we're going to send some thanks to the Upper Macungie Township Fire Department, the all-volunteer department, who raced to the scene and did the best they could. And to those firefighters who all week have been helping battle the blaze on Blue Mountain. Again, all volunteers, all doing what they can to keep our townships and our state safe. So if we can take a moment, keep those folks in your hearts and your minds, and then we'll get started. Okay. Done the pledge. There's no additions or deletions to the agenda, I'm led to believe, so we can skip through that. We're at item 3, the minutes and the financials. I will make a motion to dispense with a reading of the minutes from the general business meeting of October 3rd, as well as the budget workshops held on October 8th and the 15th of 2024, and approve as submitted and authorize the payment of the bills for October of 2024 in the amount of $4,837,904.85. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Conversations, honey?
None.
Public, any conversation on that? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion as read signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. That passes, and we're moving right along. The moment we've all been waiting for. I know Michelle has been eagerly anticipating this moment. We're up to presentations in the 2025 budget presentation. Bob and Michelle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After months of staff preparation and 2 workshops held by the board, we're ready to present a proposed budget for 2025. I think it's important to note that there is no tax increase with this budget. The budget does stay within our expected revenues and provides a modest balance left over. So, again, I want to thank staff for their participation and honestly their hard work in making this thing come together. So Michelle is our assistant finance manager. She's going to run through some of the highlights, just give a high overview. Go, Michelle.
All right. You want to?
Can you turn your mic on?
It's on. If you could bring it closer to you.
All right. Can you hear me now? No.
Not so much.
Pretty tough.
Now can you hear me?
There
Yep.
you go.
Oh my God! I got to be
Right
on
into it.
it. All right. Next slide, please. Okay.
Next slide.
I have it on my screen.
It's only showing the
I
cover page.
I see that.
Yeah.
This is where we play the Jeopardy music, right?
You still need to bring that closer, Michelle. Pull that nice and
Try to do this. Close this one. Close this one. There we go.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So as Bob said, the real estate rate will remain at 6.4 mils, so no increase. The annual sewer fees will remain the same at $356 annually. Refuse and recycling fees will increase from $350 to $375 annually, and the senior refuse and recycling rates will increase from $333 to $355 annually. We hope to maintain those rates as we continue the remainder of the Waytail contract. Next slide. This is just a millage comparison So Upper Macungie obviously remains the same. The County of Lehigh at 3.78 mils, and Parkland School District at 17.22 mils. Um, So we all remain the same. Parkland School District increased 0.82, which equates to 205 a year. Next slide. The next few slides represent funds with direct impact. All funds are self-sustaining and balanced budget. Our largest revenue source in Fund 1, or the general fund, comes from earned income tax and real estate tax. Next slide, please. Our largest expense for Fund 1 is our emergency services. We have funding for staff and our volunteer firefighter stipend program to provide better response times. Next slide. Fund 5 revenue is the refuse and recycling, comes from the residential fees collected. The revenue also includes grant funds, which are not guaranteed or come in the same year that the awards are granted. For the next slide, for the Fund 5 general operating expenses are up. The expenses are to the hauler, Whitetail. Next slide. Fund E is the sewer fund. The commercial, industrial, and residential fees cover the costs to LCA. As mentioned earlier, those rates will stay the same. Next slide. Our biggest expense for the sewer is for the LCA treatment. Next slide. Fund 19 is recreation. So that's the revenue. Next slide. And then Fund 19 expenses is for the community center, which is coming from the capital reserves. Next slide. So what's going to happen next? The proposed approval from the Board of Supervisors meeting tonight. Then there'll be a motion to advertise for 20 days, and then the final approval will be on December 5th of 2024.
So from a procedural perspective, we'll put the motion on so we can have a conversation. I'll make a motion to adopt the 2025 proposed budget and authorize the advertisement for its public display. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Questions, concerns, Sonny?
Just a question. Could you flip back one page? I'm just curious, because I think we did this budget before we found out about the RCAP money that was awarded. I assume that's not in here, right?
No,
It's not. So that's a,
two reasons, Sonny. One, it's too late to change this now,
sure.
but the RCAP funding won't actually show up until the project's complete.
Oh, I see. Okay. Just curious. So the 35 million, though, that's the anticipated expenditure for 2025 only.
Correct.
Without that. So maybe that'll roll into 2026 perhaps.
That will show up probably as 26 revenue.
Okay,
In
cool.
that budget.
All right. Thank you
Yes.
for the clarification.
Just so it's clear, so everyone knows what we're talking about, we received notice that through the RCAP program from the state of Pennsylvania, that the community center was given a $5 million allocation this year, which is a pretty big deal. So it's just a matter of finding where that fits in the budget. We have to spend to get it back.
Correct.
Spend and be reimbursed. So as we spend money, we'll get at least $5 million back from the state. Jim, any questions?
No, sir.
None from me. Questions from the general public regarding the budget presentation? All right. Seeing none, I assume no one else up here has any questions. We will call the question and move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt the 2025 proposed budget, authorize its advertisement for public display, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Proclamation for Small Business Saturday. This has my name on it, and I'm not really sure why.
You proposed it.
Okay. I guess I proposed it. So,
There is a proclamation in there, Jim.
I
If you don't want to read it, it's just too.
so,
Oh, no, I think he has to read it.
thanks, Jim. So Saturday, November 30th, as it has been with Black Friday on the 29th, Saturday the 30th has been Small Business Saturday. There's been a request made to us to have a proclamation recognizing Small Business Saturday on November 30th, 2024.
What's
whereas the Upper McCudgee Township Board of Supervisors celebrates our local and small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff. Whereas Upper McCudgee supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. Whereas other groups across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. I'd make a motion that we approve a proclamation that November 30th, 2024 is Small Business Saturday in the Township of Upper McCudgee. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sonny.
Mhm.
Is there anybody that wishes to be heard positively or negatively, hopefully not, about Small Business Saturday?
Just want to know why you didn't read the proclamation. That's all. But other than that,
Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the proclamation that's contained in your packet, and if anyone wants to read the whole thing, I'll gladly show it to you later. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And none opposed. That passes.
so will this, can we put this on the website?
Yes. We'll get it signed and we'll put it up there. All right. So moving to discussions and updates. Anybody have anything to add for this piece? Anyone at all? Bueller? Should we talk about, as an update, Cal, the Saldo public meeting in this
Yeah, that
case?
could be mentioned now.
Okay.
There is a interim saldo update, which the Board of Supervisors had authorized a public hearing to occur before the December 5th meeting next month. However, we're going to push that off until the January meeting to give us a little bit more time to digest and complete the draft and get it sent out for all the MPC timelines. So the public hearing will instead occur on January 6th, and we'll have the proper notice in the paper.
So that public meeting, the public meeting for the December 5th was not actually advertised as of yet, right?
It was not yet.
So it'll be advertised as January 6th. So all those listening or here in the room who are eagerly anticipating a Saldo update conversation, that'll be January 6th. Paul, I know you were looking forward to it. All right, moving on. Ordinances, it doesn't appear we have anything to discuss this evening, so we're moving to Section 7, resolutions. Resolution 2024-44, docket 2265A, the Trexlertown Retail Center LLC, 5917. I assume that's supposed to say Tillman Street. Cal.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This project involves the demolition of existing structures and the construction of an auto service station with a convenience store, car wash, and retail spaces. The preliminary land development plan was approved by the Board of Supervisors much earlier this year, back at the January meeting. The Planning Commission recommended final plan approval in March of this year, and they're now before you for your final land development plan approval. The applicant is here to give a brief presentation, answer any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-44, granting final land development plan approval to docket number 2265A, Trexlertown Retail Center LLC, conditioned upon the township engineer and township zoning review letters dated October 31st, 2024 and October 23rd, 2024 respectively.
I'll second that motion. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Victor Grande with Vertu Associates. I'm the civil engineer on the project. The owner is not able to attend this evening, but he has authorized me to attend on his behalf.
Grande is the last name?
Yes.
Like Ariana?
No relations.
Like-
I'm happy about that.
To quote Woody Wooderson, would have been cooler if you did. All right, so I guess what we'll do is, if you have anything to say other than what's on the page, we can
No,
run-
we've gone through all the outside agencies. That's part of the reason why there has been a little bit of delay in this. So we've gone to PennDOT, we've gone to LCA, we've gone to the NPDS folks. So everything should be in order. So they're actually looking at starting construction hopefully soon. So it's going to be in motion after that.
Okay, Dave.
Based on the comments in my letter, everything is mainly a general drafting item for me. So I feel it's ready for your action.
And are we still awaiting outside agency approvals for anything?
Nope, they have all their outside agency approvals.
What about on the drainage plan? I noticed on the LVPC letter that there was some inconsistencies with Act 167. Is there any
So they received an additional letter after that, citing that they are consistent with Act 167.
Okay, so that was in my package, but so that's that issue as well.
And that went through on the NPDS permit. They got all that squared out anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
So
Right.
generally speaking, the conditions of the engineering letter are simply drafting issues that can be resolved fairly
That's
handily.
correct.
And do we have any zoning issues to address either? That are anything at all?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
So I had some questions. I was reading, and actually it was the zoning officer's a letter that he said there was there was car wash and truck wash were used interchangeably in some of the plans, and my question was, is the accessory there? Is it a car wash or a truck wash?
Just car. Yeah,
Car. Okay.
vehicular wash, yes.
Okay.
Not tractor trailer.
All right. I was hoping it wasn't because I was concerned about circulation and stuff, but all right.
Nope.
That's what I figured because when I looked at the plan, it didn't look like that, but I wanted to
Not enough
clarify.
room for
Yep.
And then the question too, I know there was some discussion about the truck trips generated. I understand that the new plan will generate 1,380 additional, not truck trips, but just trips in general. Is that correct?
No, it is not correct. We actually have to go back and relook at that. Dave and I had spoken about that a little bit earlier. So the pass-by trips were not assessed correctly in the trip generation letter. So we are going to take another look at that.
So do we know if that's going to impact the service level in that area?
No, it should not. No. We've already gone through PennDOT for all the PennDOT HOP improvements and so on and
Okay,
so forth.
you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, the pass-by kind of percentage is 60% for a convenience store. So essentially, that number that they showed on their trip gen will actually get kind of reduced by 60% of new trips. So it won't actually qualify for a traffic impact study review then.
Oh, it will not. So
No.
we may not have to do one?
Numbers are going down, not up, is what you're
Correct.
saying.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. What was the number again? I'm sorry. What was the number we're at now? Or you're not even sure? You still
On the
have
top of my head, I know it was about like 1,300, I'll say roughly, and then 60% of that, whatever that number comes out to be, 60% reduction
Okay.
because of the pass-by trips.
All right. One last question then, or two questions remaining. I was reading the LVPC letter dated May 24th, 2023. And in that letter, they recommended that pavement marked crossings to be added at the two access points to increase pedestrian visibility and to further increase secure design of policy 5.1. I couldn't see it in my prints, but is that have those improvements been made, or do you intend to make them?
Yes, we do intend to make them. That's correct.
Oh,
That's the pedestrian walkthrough and the triangle piece.
well.
right.
There was two locations. It's here. No, it's right here and right here.
The driveway entrance.
Okay.
Yeah, these two.
And they're going to get sidewalked,
Yeah, so the driveways do have striping for a crosswalk.
but there's no waivers requested for we didn't approve any waivers on sidewalks, right?
Nope, they're putting the
No,
sidewalk
it's not sidewalks. They're just
It's the
they're
cross.
just they're crosswalk
Yes.
hash marks, just to increase the visibility so people crossing by. Okay. And then one last question, I guess it's maybe for you, Cal, on the actual ordinance. It says here the issue briefing from you was dated October 31st, but the one I found was March 15th of 2024.
Yeah, the March 15th is a typo.
It's a
October
typo.
31st.
Okay, so you're going to make that before
Yep.
we pass it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Jim, any questions?
No, sir.
None from me. Any community comment? Questions, concerns? Seeing none, we can call question and move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve resolution 2024-44, granting final land development plan approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thank you, Mr. Grande. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
We can move to resolution B, 2024-45, docket 2347, 110 PA Route 100 warehouse, 110 PA Route 100, preliminary land development plan. Cal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This proposed development consists of the construction of a 150,585 square foot warehouse associated with parking, stormwater management areas, and other associated site improvements. This property was subject to a special exception hearing before the zoning hearing board, and that special exception was approved on November 22nd, 2023. The Upper Macungie Township Planning Commission met and reviewed this plan on September 18th, 2024, and did recommend preliminary plan approval condition upon the township engineers and zoning review letters. The applicant is here as well today to address you.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-45, granting preliminary land development plan approval to docket 2347, 100 PA Route 100 warehouse, conditioned upon the township engineer and township zoning review letters dated October 31st, 2024 and October 23rd, 2024 respectively.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jim. Come on up.
Good evening. My name's Dan Rowley with Saul Ewing, representing the applicant here tonight. I think Cal summarized everything pretty well. We did get special exception approval back in 2023, subject to 24 conditions, which were reviewed and approved by this board before the zoning hearing board granted that approval. We were in front of the planning commission 3 times, a few different times, and they recommended approval of the project. We have, that was mentioned, our most recent review letter package was dated October 31st, and will comply on all comments. We are not requesting any waivers.
Thank you, Dan.
No problem.
I don't really have anything much to add. It's a preliminary plan right now. They've addressed pretty much almost all my comments. Most of them that are remaining are just general drafting. I think there's one engineering comment that's kind of more related for LCCD decision. There we go. But other than that, I believe they're ready to go for preliminary.
And we've got several outstanding agency reviews, yeah?
That's correct.
That's PennDOT and DP and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we're working through that, and that'll be part of our final.
Do you know what the status is on any of those at this point?
I'll have David Wilson, who's the civil engineer.
All right.
I'm Dave Wilson, the civil engineer. In terms of the conservation district, we did recently receive their initial review letter. So we will be forwarding all the correspondence to Dave Albin and the township to keep you all in the loop. So we are working through the NIPD's permit, and we are still working through the PennDOT HOP permit.
Because I know I had the pleasure and privilege of being at my name is on the zoning hearing board decision. Has there been conversation with PennDOT about the turning lanes? And that was a big issue as we did the zoning. Is there some
Yeah.
confirmation of what's going to happen with those, both the left-hand and right-hand turn-ins?
Yeah, so I don't have the exact lengths, but we had initial discussions with them and agreed upon a certain length, and then we went through a few iterations, and we've had to extend the turning lane. So that is an item that we've addressed, and we're still working through that process. We are beholden to their requirements.
Yeah,
So.
that's for the extension that PennDOT's looking for. Is that both the left-hand and right-hand turn-in, or just the right-hand turn?
Top of my head, I believe is the left hand as well.
Okay, so
Sorry. So for the special exception, the zoning approval is just the left-hand turn.
okay,
And not the right.
okay.
Hey, can I just, Jeff,
Come on up.
I was involved with you. So the 2 conditions for HOP on that one was increasing the radii and the turn into the right, into the common driveway with the hotel. And then the condition was increasing the
100
left turn lane to 175 feet.
Remember
We're
that
actually
they
talking
didn't want to do the
PennDOT
right?
about is increasing further than that 175
Right.
feet. So that's what we're
Okay.
at right now. And then PennDOT has an issue that our W9 or FIN for this property is the same as every other property they own, and they want us to resolve that before they give us the permit. So
Okay, so we didn't have a condition from the zoning hearing board about the right-hand turn-in and
Not
Penn,
lengthening.
right, and PennDOT's okay with the current proposed right-hand turn
Yes.
into the property.
Yes, sir.
But if anything, Jeff, no sir, please. It makes me feel too old. If anything, the left-hand turn is actually going to exceed what the zoning hearing board asked for as a requirement.
Correct.
For distance-wise.
It'll be no shorter than what's in the condition, but it may be longer.
Okay, and the radii issue on the driveway,
No issues.
no issues at all. PennDOT's approved where it is now.
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
If I recall, we wanted a longer right and PennDOT wouldn't allow it, if I remember correctly?
If PennDOT's okay with it, there's not.
It's the radii. The original traffic study showed that the length that's there now can accommodate the right turns. But Mr. Albin had pointed out that the radii coming in did not accommodate the trucks. So we had agreed to go to PennDOT and increase that radii, and they have no issues with it today.
So from the other, of the 20 some odd conditions that we placed, are any other looking to be problematic at this point, or everything looks like it's sailing in pretty well?
Sounds pretty well.
Okay, just put your name on the record for me.
Yeah. David Corner, Prologis.
Thanks, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I told you about that, Dave.
It's happened. It's happened.
I know.
Dad used to beat my butt. if I didn't-
Well, I'm not going to do that. Make that very clear on the record. I'm not going to do that. All right, Sunny, questions?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. Thank you. I was reviewing the packet. I had some questions relative to the LVPC letter dated June 28th, 2024. One of the letter in the letter, it recommended that traffic circulation between passenger and trucks should be reviewed. I'm curious, are there any markings or other safeguards in the plan to assure for that? And I'm also particularly concerned about the shared driveway where passenger cars and trucks will be converging. And I honestly, I raised that issue, if you'll remember, tried to give you plenty of heads up to address that, and I'm hoping you guys have something for me.
Yeah, so obviously, Mr. Guy, I heard your comment during the special exception. So we've constantly been communicating back and forth with the hotel owners, as well as addressing the LPCA comments and the concerns of the board. The actual driveway itself coming in, we can't make that any wider due to the stormwater requirements on both the hotel's property and our property. However, we had agreed to escrow money with the township for that sound wall. What we've done is worked with the internal circulations and positioned stop bars, and also agreed not to put a guardhouse or any fencing so that the trucks can make the free movement in, but so they won't block the driveway. They'll come right in and into the truck court. However, when they leave it, the hotel actually has the right of way to leave the site versus the trucks. They have to stop inside the site, the stop bars, before they can leave the site. I think, Dave, if I remember correctly, PennDOT also asked us, and this, I'm just addressing all the circulation comments that I think might come up. We agreed to put an emergency access along Shantz Road. PennDOT has actually come back to us and asked us to look at the size of that as well. And we've been calculating the coverages and everything else. Internally, because of the common driveway, we do have to bring it all in the one access. But the way we have the cars is they're not going to go through the truck court to enter the north side parking lot. All the auto traffic will come right in and go into the parking lot that is closest to the hotel. And then they can circulate around what I'm going to call the front of the building.
Can you
towards Route 100?
Just one second. Could we have a plan or something we can pull up? Because I'm really having a hard time
Yeah, no
conceptualizing. There's a lot. You're overloading.
I
me
look
with
at it a lot
information.
more than you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's here.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you can put it up on the screen is what I was hoping for. Okay, I have it in front of me as well, but it's a little hard to conceptualize exactly what you're talking about. I apologize.
No worries at all.
Okay, is it possible?
And while we're waiting for that to be put on the screen, stacking in the shared drive aisle was something you brought up. That is, again, a condition of approval that we do not do that. And we've been working with both the design of the project and the neighboring Fairfield Hotel to ensure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because I thought the guardhouse was one of the ways to manage that. So if you're taking that out, that was going to be one of my questions is how are you managing it?
There was never a proposal to have a guardhouse. It's
Okay.
always going to be one. It was always intended to be one tenant. The idea, and again, this is a condition of approval of our zoning, was
Sure.
that in the future, if there ever was multiple tenants and we needed a guardhouse, we are restricted from where we can place that. It has to be at least 250 feet into the property to avoid stacking in the
Okay.
private drive.
We
All
also
right.
have to come back to the board for that approval. We can't
Yeah.
put a guard shack.
Okay. And listen, I just want to make sure we have a safe plan. That's all I'm coming, and I think you do too, because the last thing you want is,
Mr. Guy, you can be able to see me pointing at the screen
yeah,
here.
yeah, that'd be perfect. I'll try to.
So as you
follow
can
you.
see, the entryway as you come into the actual driveway into the warehouse down
Yeah.
on plan south, I'll say.
Sure.
We've worked on that radii to make sure that the trucks can safely make that movement without a stop movement to get into our parcel versus having to sit out in the driveway here. This plan doesn't show it, but trucks exiting have to make a stop. They can't go out into, so it's a stop condition here. Vehicles coming in from Route 100 will have a free movement to both the hotel and the warehouse. Exiting is a stop movement so that the incoming traffic is still a free movement and the exiting is controlled on the sites and not in the common driveway.
I'm going to say it in layman's terms so I understood it.
Yes.
So basically the trucks have to stop, whereas the passengers don't. They have free access. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, on exit.
On
On
exit.
exit.
Yes.
Yeah,
On
so
exit.
the hotel residents, guests would have the right of way.
They have the priority in that.
Yes.
Okay. And go ahead, sorry.
No, my apologies. And then as you notice, so as the auto cars come in here, you have your first area parking. The way, and we've submitted preliminary building plans because that was part of our condition as well to make the building look better than just a warehouse. So we've done that as well. So what we're planning is to put our offices on the corners here. So
Okay, I see it. Never mind. Yeah. Okay.
So the cars will make that right turn as soon as they get into our site, and they can navigate to the two corners where the parking is without having to come through the truck court. This is more of an emergency escape, a lack of better words, with also the emergency access that we agreed to put on Shops Road right there at that point.
Where are you putting your ice scrapers? Because that was also a condition.
We are using mobile ones.
Understood. But where would you put them?
We can put them wherever the township would like them.
Well, I just wanted, because that was another remark on the LCA letter. There were apparently, so I don't think it was highlighted, and that's
Yeah, we put in mobile. We would most likely put the scrapers back here in the truck court
okay.
area.
Yeah.
But we can move them around.
I mean, I don't want, I personally don't want to dictate where you put them. I mean, that's up to how you run the operation. But I just wanted to.
It'll definitely be in the site,
Yeah.
not out in the driveway.
Okay. All right. Understood. Let me see if I have any other questions. Thank you for answering the ones I had. I guess the only other question I had is just generally speaking, I noticed that the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission has a number of recommendations. Some of them are designed to, minimize carbon offset, and so forth, using electric hookups so that trucks don't idle is one. And I think you handled it. So anyway, I was just wondering if you've considered those in your plan.
We've actually considered more than just what the
LVPC.
Sounding like Mr. Alvin now. LVPC. So one of the things that is great about Prologis is every single one of our buildings are LEED Silver certified.
Great.
So that's one thing. This building, as we're designing it, particularly, we are incorporating also precast sandwich panels to reduce the carbon footprint of the building. I can go on and list all the things. We have a net zero program. So our roof that we put, our design of the roof increases the collateral load. And if I'm getting too technical, please stop me. The collateral load of the steel for the roof gives us 5 PSI collateral load to plan for future solar on the roof. We also incorporate what's called a microgrid switchgear now. None of the buildings you guys have seen before have that. It's something new that we're implementing. This gear is advanced monitoring and advanced metering. It's easily expandable if we have a customer that wants to come in and put a generator rather than ripping the service out and having to put a new service back in. It's plug and play. We've removed steel fibers from this concrete floor. We're going back to a conventional slab. So your 65 pounds, a cubic yard of concrete that used to be steel in there is no longer in there. Constantly good. We actually have, I think, 4 EV auto parking spots identified on this. And we are looking into that recommendation of LPC of putting the actual plugs where the truckers' parking spots are, where they have the lounges, so that they can plug those in while they're in the lounges.
Okay, great. No, thank you. You answered all my questions. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Jim?
No, sir.
I've gotten my questions answered. So is there anything from the general public about this project on preliminary plan review? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 2024-45 granting preliminary land development plan to docket number 2347, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your
Have
time.
a good evening. We are moving forward to Resolution C, docket 2024-46, docket 2361, the Resurrection Cemetery, 547 North Crocs Road, sewer planning module. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an administrative item. The applicant, Resurrection Cemetery, previously has appeared before the board and have since completed their sewer planning module. Township engineers have reviewed the plan and they agree that the plan is ready for submission to the DEP for their approval.
I will make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-46, approving the submission of a sewage planning module for docket 2361, the Resurrection Cemetery. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Questions, concerns, comments? Sunny?
None.
Jim?
None.
None from me. Either anybody from the public want to comment on sewer modules for a cemetery?
It's not really a
Just
cemetery, but
rolls off the tongue. Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt Resolution 2024-46, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And we can keep rolling forward. That's a brewery, huh?
Yep.
I should have heard that. A tough name for a brewery. Resolution D, 2024-47, docket 2380, the 18th Amendment microbrewery sewer planning module. Jazz.
Similar to the last one, this applicant has also appeared previously before the board. They have also completed their sewer planning module. Township engineer do agree that they are ready to submit to the DEP for approval as well.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-47, approving the submission of a sewage planning module for docket number 2380, 18th Amendment microbrewery.
I'll second that. Is the 18th Amendment prohibition?
Yes.
yeah, I had to look that up because I was curious.
That's how very clever.
Yeah, it was.
Questions or concerns? Sunny?
So, okay, I think I know that where this building is. This is a very memorable meeting. I don't remember having them come up to the board. When did they do that? You remember?
They did not appear
Okay,
before.
they
the
didn't.
board.
Okay, this is just a sewer hookup. Okay, that's what just threw me off. Are they having? What are they actually going to be operating there? Is it just a microbrewery?
Microbrewery.
Is it for service or just?
Yeah, I think they're going to have a few seats.
Oh, they are. Okay, all right, interesting. Okay, that's all I had.
Jim?
I'm good.
Good for me. Anyone from the audience want to comment? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt 2024-47 regarding a sewage planning module for 18th Amendment microbrewery, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Jazz. Resolution E, 2024-48, resolution for bond reimbursement. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution's for the board, just for your consideration. In the future, if there's any possible thought about taking a bond to help finance either the new community center or any other capital projects that might come before the board, there are limits on what the bond money can be spent for, when and where. This resolution, if we pass it now, gives us a 60-day look back for expenses we've already spent. We could, in a sense, reimburse ourselves from the bond to pay for it. There is no obligation whatsoever. I want to stress that. You're not approving a bond. You're not committing to a bond. This is just a what if, and it's a belt and suspenders approach.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-48, authorizing the township to reimburse itself for original expenditures related to the construction of the community center if a bond is issued to provide funding for the project.
I'll second that. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Questions or concerns? Sonny?
No, I don't think I have. I'm just curious why we need to do this. Is this a requirement?
If you want to get reimbursed.
Right, so Jamie talked about at the presentation that there's an option when you do a bond, that if we have this ordinance in place before the bond is issued, we can pay ourselves back from the bond money.
Okay, I remember that now.
So
Yeah.
this is just a
This is- this
precursor
was-
step that we can take to make sure that we're ready for it in case we do.
Well, and it also allows us to take as much or as little out of our,
Okay, Yeah,
funds to,
I remember that discussion now. All right, thank you.
All right. Jim, questions or concerns?
I'm good.
Any from the audience have any questions or concerns regarding the resolution for bond reimbursement? Fantastic. Seeing none, we can move to the vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2024-48 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Resolution 2024-49, the hazard mitigation plan. Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The inception of the hazard mitigation plans for the Lehigh Valley dates back to 2006. They're updated every 5 years. Well, FEMA and PEMA have approved the updated plan, which consists of Northampton and Lehigh County. Few updates. One to mention, Lehigh County Authority was added to the 2024 plan, which actually dates back close to 2 years now since it's been worked on. So we're asking for approval for the adoption of the Lehigh Valley 2024 Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-49, adopting the Lehigh Valley 2024 Hazard Mitigation Plan as the official hazard mitigation plan of Upper Macungie Township.
I'll second that. One issue on the resolution itself, it indicates that it's resolution 2024-48 instead of 49.
Is it 48 or 49?
It should be 49. 48 was the resolution. For
Ah,
bond
you're right.
reimbursement.
49.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
49.
but on the
Yep.
resolution itself. it says 48. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
Not everything was answered. No, I'm good.
Okay. Jim, questions or concerns?
You've been through it, you're good with it?
Yes.
And we're
For this current one,
in compliance and,
we are in compliance.
okay. I'm good.
Anyone from the audience have concerns or questions or comments regarding the hazard mitigation plan? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of resolution to adopt resolution 2024-49 regarding the Lehigh Valley 2024 hazard mitigation plan, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thank you very much, Pete. And we can keep rolling right along. We are on to the section about motions. A, awarding bids for polished concrete and turf community center. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These bids that are before you now were originally rejected by the board on the September 5th meeting. We didn't feel comfortable either with the product or the prices, so we rebid them. The lowest bidders have been vetted and interviewed, and on the plus side, the turf cost dropped probably about $90,000.
Wow.
There was a slight increase in the polished concrete, but the lowest bidder could not produce the bond, didn't actually want to produce the bond, so we went to the second lowest bidder. Also has a very good reputation, and Blitz has worked with them quite a bit in the past, so everyone's comfortable with awarding the bids as presented to you.
So couldn't produce the bid bond?
Didn't want to,
Didn't want to produce the bid bond?
didn't want to get the bond. They don't do bonds.
Lovely.
And they can't bid.
I've experienced it before, so
Yeah, they bid.
that's their decision.
Mhm.
Ours-
I know, but they shouldn't submit the bid.
Why would they bid if they don't want a bond?
Yeah,
Um,
you can't
anywho,
do it.
Okay, whatever.
I'll make a motion to award bid PC number 17, polished concrete to Budget Maintenance Concrete Services, Inc. in the amount of $114,307.50, and to award bid PC number 19, artificial turf to Sprint Turf in the amount of $554,620, and acknowledging that for the second time, no bid was received for PC number 22, the ADA lift. And as such, it will be negotiating with vendors directly to secure a
Correct.
contract for that.
Mhm.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
Just a question, really. I know you guys are working on a business plan for the community center.
Mhm.
How are we going with that?
Ryan's been working on it. We've been working with couple county agencies and everything else to plan out our scheduling and programming.
Do you have a kind of like something that some kind of date that we can look at it?
I would say with probably early next year.
Okay, that'd be great.
Brian, you want to give a brief update to some of the people you've been talking to about the community center planning and the programming and the vendors and the people that are excited about this project?
Yep. So just last week, we checked in again with LVHN, our founding partner. We have a standing meeting with their sports performance team, but we've also included some of their clinical programs and general fitness as well. So we are looking at that from all avenues with our founding partner. We are doing follow-ups with the Parkland Library about programming and opportunities within the community center. And then we had a very lengthy meeting with the Lehigh County Lehigh County Office of Aging and Adult Services about their opportunities and programming that we could bring to the community center here on the western side. Found out that they're head of their departments and Upper Macungie Township residents, so it's an exciting thing to bring some of their programs and opportunities here to the community center. We are also lining up other avenues with other soccer clubs. We've talked to Discover Lehigh Valley about putting this in a position to bring leads they obtain from regional or national, say, tournaments or activities, and how we can best position the community center and the park as a whole for those opportunities.
And for every community event where we have vendors, we're making sure that we mention to those vendors what's coming and they're all excited to be part of the project as well.
Everyone we talk to at National Night Out and other places, they've asked a ton of questions. And when we have conversations with the existing programs, we talk not only about 2025, but 2026 and expanded opportunities.
Okay.
All right, all good stuff. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Sean?
Can you come up? Can you please come up, because we won't be able to hear you on YouTube.
They have trouble on the feed.
Sean Gill, 441 Sawgrass Drive, neighbor of Chris. Great price on the turf. Done it before and home run.
Yeah, and we actually feel we got a better product for less money.
Thanks, Sean.
I'm his neighbor too, but
He didn't mention you.
Knowing that you're neighbors with Chris set you down a little bit, I think. But
thanks.
Chris is taking shots without even saying anything at the hearing tonight. Any other questions, concerns about the bid that we're authorizing for polished concrete or turf, or the fact that no one wanted to bid on the ADA lift? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to award bid number PC number 17, polished concrete to Budget Maintenance Concrete Services, Inc., in the amount of $114,307.50, and to award bid PC 19 to Artificial Turf to Sprint Turf in the amount of $554,620, and acknowledging that for the second time, no bid was received for bid PC number 22, the ADA lift. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob. Thank you,
And
Ryan.
we can go to co-stars or something for the lift? Is that what we're going to do?
We can do co-stars, or now we can negotiate
That's
directly with
excellent.
vendors
Okay.
on the price.
Now that we've advertised
excellent.
twice and
Yep.
no one's been doing it, it's us to do it. We're moving on. Motion B, updated the employee handbook. Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a routine procedure we do every so often. We run our employee handbook through legal review. There's usually changes in labor laws or benefit requirements, and what you have before you is the end result of that review.
All right, I'll make a motion to update the employee handbook.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns, Jim?
I'm good.
Sunny?
I have no questions.
I have none. Anybody in the audience have questions about how we're updating the employee handbook? Any employees have questions how we're updating the employee handbook? No, there's no more time off, Michelle. We're actually for asking that question, you get time off taken away. Make a note of that, please.
And two
So
demerits. And two demerits.
Seeing no comments, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to update the employee handbook signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes with Michelle's demerits. Moving to motion C, authorizing the advertisement of RFP for township solicitor. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just another, I'll call it a housekeeping item. Over the last 12 to 14 months, we've been updating our RFPs for all professional services, starting with building code inspections. We recently done the engineering is out for review, and this is certainly no reflection on Andrew or anything. It's just part of the procedure to go next with legal services.
I will make a motion to authorize staff to draft and advertise an RFP for township solicitor services.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Sonny. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
I'm just curious, where are we advertising this one?
We'll probably do it in the local papers. We're considering pen bid.
Okay.
I have concerns with that. I don't, we want to keep,
Professional services on Pender?
yeah. Cal was looking at that. They actually do, within the software, you can do reviews and evaluations. It's actually quite a handy.
Is there a way to, and you have some concerns, what are your concerns, or do you want to?
I don't want a firm from Pittsburgh.
I see. So is there a way to put that in the requirements? that
We
you
have
want?
reasonable drive. I have put in reasonable drive time, an
Okay.
office within reasonable drive time of the township building.
All right, okay. And you can, okay, that's fine. And you can use that as a way to, okay.
That'd be better if you had a mileage
If I'm at,
for an hour. You put a reasonable time.
if it's an hour, but would you turn someone down because it's an hour and 5 minutes? Or is that still reasonable? That's why I went with just
Got it.
maybe
Something
a little
that
more.
really isn't measurable,
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's to your discretion what reasonable is, right?
That's why
So-
Domino's stopped promising 30 minutes or less. We don't want someone breaking the speed limit just to get here in an hour.
No comment.
It's been a
no
long day.
comment.
Any other questions or concerns from the public regarding the RFP for township solicitor? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize staff to draft and advertise an RFP for township solicitor services signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Motion D, authorizing an extension of time limitations for recording of docket 2338, Twin Ponds Mixed Use. Cal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As in the past, the Twin Ponds mixed use did receive approval previously from the board. They have not had any extensions yet. Andrew has drafted the agreements. They are underway. We expect that they will be recorded within the next couple of months, and we are recommending an extension for an additional 120 days to their recording to February 28th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to authorize an extension of time limitation for the recording of docket number 2338, Twin Ponds Mixed Use for an additional 120 days, ending on February 28th, 2025.
I'll second that. Thank you, Jim. Questions or concerns? Sonny?
None.
Jim?
Nope.
None from me. Any of the public with concerns regarding extensions of time for the recording of a plan? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the extension for the time limitation for docket 2338 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Cal.
Thank you.
E, authorizing the township manager to execute agreement with the Sanctuary of Hoffsville for stray cats.
Thank
Mr. Woolley, Chief Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This agreement has been in place since 2016. It allows the residents a place to take stray cats. The sanctuary is in the township, and we've had a good working relationship with them.
Okay, Sonny?
I'll do it. Let me see here. Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the township manager to execute an agreement with the Sanctuary Hospital to provide assistance with stray cat services for 2025.
I'll second that motion. Jim, do you have any questions
No, sir.
regarding stray cats and the police chief?
No, sir. Our rate just went up. That's not a bad deal.
Yes.
$25. No questions.
Sonny?
No questions. Or great band.
Stray cat strut. Questions from the audience regarding our contract with the Sanctuary at Hoffsville for stray cats? Seeing none, we for the motion to authorize the township manager to execute the agreement with Sanctuary of Hoffsville, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mike. That passes. Motion F, authorizing fire police assistance for the St. Luke's Marathon. Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Allentown Police Department has requested assistance from our fire police for traffic control for the St. Luke's D&L Race Fest Marathon on November 10th of this year.
I'll make a motion to approve Upper Macungie Township Fire Police to aid with traffic control at the St. Luke's D&L Race Fest Marathon on November 10th, 2024 on behalf of the Allentown Police Department.
I'll second that
Thank you,
motion.
Sonny. Sonny, questions or concerns?
None.
Jim?
No, sir.
Peter, you running this marathon?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank goodness. Any questions regarding Pete's non-running of the marathon for motion F? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve Upper Macungie Township Fire Police to aid with the Race Fest Marathon on November 10th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. That passes. Thank you, Pete. Board and staff reports. The monthly department reports are available in the back of the room and have been posted on the township website. Are there any department managers who have anything specific they would like to announce?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to announce that there was an executive session held today at 6 p.m. and the topic discussed was legal matters.
Thank you, Jess. Mike?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody if you came to our National Night Out. It was held in just a couple weeks ago in October rather than August due to weather. I wasn't able to attend, but I understand it was a well-attended, great event. I'd also like to congratulate or announce that Officer Julia Popes, our community service officer, just recently graduated from DARE school, so she's now a certified DARE instructor. So we're excited about that. It was really cool to see that. She said that that was a childhood dream of hers, so it was kind of cool to see that to fruition.
That's fantastic. Please make sure you congratulate her on behalf of the Board of Supervisors for us.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ryan?
Just that we came off a very successful trunk or treat event at the end of October, on October 18th over at Lone Lane Park. For the second year doing it, we doubled in size compared to last year. Unfortunately, we did have to block off access because we pretty much every green space we could find to park a car on, we did. Line was there for the entire time frame. We added some new elements to it this year that the board approved that were a hit to families who were there. The movie, food vendors, beverage vendors, everyone was very happy. Trinity Ambulance Corps was one of the last in the line of trunk or treats, and their feedback was no matter how long people waited, they were very happy and appreciative of the event.
Can you give us an idea, Ryan, of how many people you actually think showed up to trunk or treat at Lone Lane Park?
So our best guesstimate is about 4,000.
4,000
Wow.
people. And how many did we actually think were going to show up?
We planned for 2 based on last year's numbers with what the staff had told me from last year being that ran that night. We did double up. I know South Whitehall at the same night, but we still had 4,000 people.
You were not able to move in my neighborhood.
And with
I apologize.
No, it was
well, it is your fault.
it
And
was Friday, and I got to stay home. But
and with the McCalls that we approved, the selling of alcohol at the event, was there any issue or any problem with that?
Not a single issue.
Okay. And they were pretty pleased?
They're very happy and willing to work with the township for all future events.
And just for future reference, in fact, they kicked kegs, Drew?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
We also had food. 2 of our food truck vendors sold out halfway through the event as well.
And during the event, you had to make a special run to clear the grocery store of all the candy?
I did run a giant to play supermarket sweep on some candy aisles.
Now, for all those who don't know what supermarket sweep is, so on behalf of the supervisors, Ryan, you and Emily did a fantastic job on that event. It's a fantastic testament to the work that you did, that double the number of people showed up that we thought, and yet the only complaints were, I want to get in, not we're being kept out. So great job. Congratulations.
it really did look kind of neat from the road. So I'm sure everybody enjoyed.
And I just want to shout out Jim Solstice as well, because the unique perspective of this event is the wooded area at Lone Lane, and him and JT and the crew did a fantastic job decorating it, lining it with lights, doing some creative elements that are really huge hit. This isn't just your stock trunk or treat where a bunch of cars pop open the tailgates and hand out candy. There's other elements to it that make it as successful as it is.
Congratulations. Anything else from the rec department?
Just that our comprehensive park and rec open space plan is going very well. As of this afternoon, we're up to 975 survey responses. So we are getting a real good cross section of answers. The consulting team was here this past Monday talking with recreation and park and township staff to dive a little deeper into some of the ideas that are trends that are coming up. And we have our next steering committee meeting next week.
And the next public meeting on that is January 15th?
I don't have the exact date on my head, but it's in January, and we do have a dedicated page on the website documenting all the information about the project.
Thank you. Anything else from the rec department? Michelle or Bruce?
Nothing exciting.
Anything boring? I shouldn't have asked. Scotty?
Are you kidding?
The leaf collection trucks are out there doing a great job. Yes, they are creating a lot of dust. And there are big piles of leaves on my street, and I expect them to be cleared immediately. Thank you very much.
Stop down through Heatherfield while you're at it too. They've all blown back after.
Any other from the dais here?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just make mention that township offices will be closed Monday, the 11th for Veterans Day. Will also be closed Thanksgiving Day and the day after in November.
And I saw next year we're adding Christmas Eve as a holiday as well, yeah?
Yes.
I think you're substituting with the floating.
Yeah, there used to be a floating holiday that will now be assigned to Christmas Eve.
Michelle wanted the extra day, but we said no.
Yeah.
Well, she's already been fined and demerited tonight,
Okay,
so that's
fine.
okay. With that, we can move to public comment. Courtesy of the floor.
I have just one
Oh, sorry,
thing.
Jim.
One thing that is something that has changed over the last 10 or so years was the police department's means and methods of policing. And I think I heard something today that really drives that home. Want you to thank Officer Reeder for stepping out and helping those guys fight that fire that turned into a brush fire. I think that's really kind of neat that he was able to, step in and lend a hand. And I think that speaks volumes to the residents in terms of the officers' commitments to the community. So
Thank you.
just thought I'd say thank you.
I'll relay the message. It's a true team effort. In fact, I think Officer Rohrbach also was holding a hose just a few weeks ago also. So
That's amazing. Thank you.
true team effort. So I appreciate your comments.
Public comment courtesy of the floor. Chuck, come on up. Probably shouldn't have called on Chuck. We should let him not talk.
We've read your statement. We know you've been sworn. You may continue.
Thank you. I would just like to thank the township for allowing the police department and the fire departments on October the 5th assisting with traffic control for the Corey and Kimberly motorcycle ride. We had a fantastic day, and that's only because we made a rain day this year. We raised just under $20,000. We gave 3 nonprofit organizations $16,000. I just want to thank the township for making our riders safe. Thank you.
And that's a fantastic event that you run, Chuck, and we appreciate you doing that for the
Gotta
community.
get it bigger. Next year, we're doing a walk in conjunction with it.
All right, just make sure that bourbon raffle's a little bit more enticing, and you'll get more money from us. Any other comments or concerns from public? Yeah, come on up, sir.
My name is Neil Roberti. I'm a resident of the township since 2016. This is more or less an idea I have, and I hope somebody would take some time to consider it. And if I'm all wet, I'm all wet, but maybe you can hear me now. As we know, everybody knows the traffic situation around 222 is getting crazy, beyond crazy. There's so many accidents and injuries and everything else, but from Cressler Road all the way out to Mill Creek. And it's Mill Creek, yeah, Mill Creek. And I propose looking into if it's feasible. There's a lot of state involvement in it, so who knows? But if Brookside Road in Lower Macungie could be extended, there's already a bridge over Brookside Road. So, I mean, that's a major part of it, under 222. If it could be extended up to Citronia and Shantz Road, it's about 0.59 miles. And if that were done, I feel very strongly that that would alleviate a lot of traffic and all the pressure points like Cressler, like Crocs. And Mill Creek isn't as bad, but it's a very confusing area. And if you, let me put my glasses on, I can't see, blind as a bat. All right. Anyway, I think it should relieve enough traffic pressure in all these areas, in the high accident areas, and I named them. Also, Shantz Road. I'm Pennsylvania Dutch half, and I keep mispronouncing it, but it's Shantz Road. All right, from Hamilton to Citronia. Um, that's right next to the Dunkin' Donuts on Hamilton. It goes parallel with the turnpike right up there, and that tiny bridge bottleneck at the end. The trucks trying to squeeze through there. It's just not the answer to relieve congestion going that way. Some people will actually go out to 309 and go north, which is even another problem because those intersections are terrible.
I think, and maybe Dave or Cal can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Shantz Road interchange, especially that bridge, is being addressed with part of the Topgolf coming, and that's a Lower Macungie issue.
Yeah.
And they've addressed it, and I believe, because that is an emergency access roadway for the Topgolf, that bridge is going to be expanded to a 2-lane road. It won't be a 1-lane
Thank
bridge
God
anymore.
for that. Yeah, that's if you ever noticed if you travel that way, the trucks tear up the road because it gets all like accordions in front and behind the bridge.
And is Brookside Road there at Hunan Springs?
We have to be careful. That spring right there takes the water quality of our area to the point where we don't need any treatment.
That's
So
not
if
the road I'm talking about.
there's a spring right
Yeah, I
next.
know, right at that bridge.
Yes.
I mean, that's a whole.
I'm just
spring
saying, we want to make sure we don't environmentally change that.
My part of Shantz Road is the one that's on the other side of the turnpike, or 78, the other side of 78. They crisscross there, I get confused. But it's on the western side of 78. Shantz continues up along from Citronia, up along around the, there's a little church there, Coptic church, and goes out to here, obviously. But if that connection, I have some pictures and stuff anybody wants to see.
Is the Brookside Road interchange there at Hunan Springs, is that Lower Macungie or is that Upper
Yes, it
Macungie?
is.
It's
Lower.
Okay.
Lower.
So as much as we'd like to extend that road, because I work on Brookside Road, that's a miserable interchange.
Yes.
With Hamilton Boulevard, there's not much we can do since that's Lower
Well,
Macungie.
you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
You know, you have to start with an idea. That's how I looked at it, and maybe go to most of the road would be in Upper Macungie. I'm pretty sure because it starts about 100 yards up from 222, something like that. Upper Macungie.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is
It's
exactly.
much further. It's up on the other side of Costco.
No, I'm going north from Brookside, from 222 at Brookside, straight north. Now it goes through the Turnpike Plaza.
Yes.
That's the other issue. All right, and it would probably get if you go directly at the 0.59 miles, you'd have to have some way of getting across the entrances and exits to the plaza.
So I know from personal experience that the Lower Macungie Planning Board, as well as the Lower Macungie Board of Commissioners, are really worried about the traffic interchange at Brookside Road and Hamilton Boulevard, or Hamilton Road there, not Boulevard. And they are concerned and thinking about ways to change that. But it's very difficult given the
Yeah,
circumstances.
the buildings are right next to the road. Very
And
tight.
it's unfortunately for us tonight, it's not an Upper Macungie piece that we can do anything about. I do think that the Topgolf and that associated Jandal development on 222 is
really
going
to help it.
Well, I think they're actually making that there are some traffic concerns that PennDOT has been involved in that development to try to make sure and alleviate some of the concerns that are automatically going to be associated with increased development there.
Sounds like PennDOT's the creator of the problem.
It might be, but those are things, unfortunately, Neil, that we can't deal with here because they're mostly Lower Macungie issues.
Well, again, Lower Macungie, I was thinking of attending that, even though I'm not a citizen, but I was prior to this.
Well, they're meeting right now.
Yeah,
I
can't
think
make
I think you could probably swing over there.
Yeah, I mean, if you get what I'm talking about, though, it would be another pressure point relief from 222. I mean, Shantz is going to be improved a lot with the bridge widening.
Yep.
And but that's still an awkward road and a lot of curves in it and whatever.
If we could go back in time and replan a lot of roads, I
Yeah,
think we do a lot better.
I know, but we have to start somewhere.
We do.
Something needs to be done.
Yep.
That if we could go back in time, I'd tell them to put a bridge over Crocs Road and have exits there or something because it's
Oh,
so
that,
ridiculous.
definitely. Get rid of all the traffic lights and put clover leaves in. Yep, definitely.
And Cressler is terrible. I mean, that's Laura McCungy again, but
Well, the four-way stop at Crocs and Citronia is no piece of cake either.
no.
Which I think is getting upgraded with, it's getting upgraded with the.
There'll be a
Yeah, I
development.
travel on that just about every day.
There's going to be a
and
traffic light on there as well. in the
Sometimes
future.
the traffic is backed up all the way back to where Crocs Road used to turn off.
That's where we live. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's way back.
Yep.
Yeah, I live in Charles Drive, which is just off Shantz.
Yep.
A block over from Crocs.
All right.
So.
Neil, thanks for coming. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Neil, if you want to show those pictures to me afterwards, I'd like to look.
Okay,
at it.
sure, I'll wait.
And just look at it.
Sean, did you have something?
Thank you.
Brookside Estate Road. Yes.
Yes.
Good luck there.
Any other comments from the public? Sonny, anything from you?
No.
Uh,
I don't know.
I will.
make a
Well,
mo-
hold on. I got one
oh,
thing.
oh,
Just
I'm
a
sorry.
reminder. I don't know if anybody here is interested. I don't know if anybody's watching at all, but just as a reminder that on Sunday, November 10th, Goodwill #1. Am I saying that correctly? Trexler Town Station 25 is having a charity breakfast. I will be there, willing to have any conversation with anybody about anything. If not, I'm just going to do a crossword puzzle and have breakfast. So it's an invitation to come have a conversation outside the Watchful Live YouTube with me if you'd like, or just have breakfast and contribute to a novel cause. Other than that, I've got nothing else, and I'll entertain a motion to gavel out.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. Sonny, any objections?
No objection.
All those in favor of closing the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are closed. Thank you.
So this, there was a